at that point, you're not there to play it safe. Like, if you're not taking risks, you're not competing.
It's empowering, you know? I mean, anybody who's done a CrossFit workout, you finish your CrossFit workout, and you're like, I'm on top of the world.
Yeah.
Like a hunger for competition and like that super intense structure, routine. I still had that desire.
Listen to the way people feel and the motivations for doing the things that they did. It was like they were describing me to a T.
I'm not trying to solve everything for you, but I know that sometimes you just need somebody to listen.
Learned the most is how to fill my cup by filling others.
Welcome to the Hungry Dog Barbell Podcast. Join me as I talk with passionate people about their life's failures and successes, and most importantly, what keeps them hungry for more. What up, dogs? Welcome back to the Hungry Dog Barbell Podcast here. I'm joined here by two guests. I just said here so many times. Oh my God. Joined here by two guests. We just finished the Sunday Ollie lifting session at CrossFit King of Prussia. I have Devin Coyne. I almost forgot that your full name was Devin. And then Alicia McLaughlin here. Is that how I say it?
Yeah, good. Good.
I know, Dev, you just PR'd out there.
I
Alicia,
did.
Did you PR too?
I did not.
Okay, we didn't get Scott in the picture. He's here too. He PR'd. Good work, Scott.
Yeah, proud of him.
What'd you hit, Dev, out on your PR?
So I did a 5-pound PR. So I hit 160. I've only hit like 155, like maybe two times.
What, your split jerk?
Yeah.
Nice.
And one of them was at the Super Turtle, so I don't particularly count that because it's like just adrenaline going more than anything else.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Pretty proud of myself.
So your PR was from the floor, and now you just PR'd like from the rack?
Yeah.
So your split jerk's probably a little bit higher?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't tested that in like 2 years probably.
Mm-hmm. Damn, it's a long time.
I know, man. Look at me go.
Look at you go. Alicia, you're fresh back from, I don't even know where you were. Where were you just traveling to all over the world?
I was just in Italy and Slovenia, and I go to Ireland, England, and Wales on Saturday.
Damn,
traveling. Carmen San Diego.
Carmen San Diego, that's what we said last week we were talking.
We seem to get you like a red hat, right? Isn't that what she
Yes.
wore?
I couldn't picture it at all when I was saying it out loud. I didn't even know if that was like the right thing that I meant to say.
Oh no, my sister and I used to have the computer game that we would play.
We used to play it all the time.
Yeah. Then who was the little French girl? Remember the young one?
Madeline?
Is that what it was?
With the red hair?
The red hair?
Yeah.
I thought she wore a hat too.
She did.
Yeah.
But I think it was part of like her school uniform. I don't think it was like an adventure
hat. That was a computer
hat.
game too though, right?
I don't know if it was I don't know.
I just remember back, oh yeah, you're a little bit younger than me.
I
right?
am.
How are you, 26?
27.
27, okay, a little bit.
I'm an old soul though.
Yeah.
Baby.
Alicia, what were you doing? Why were you traveling so much? Outside just love of the world.
I am a teacher, so we took 78 students to Slovenia and Italy and kind of went all over the country.
Yeah.
Have them go see.
Did you sign up for that?
Yes. Yeah, I did. This was my 9th trip, so the one next Saturday will be the 10th trip that I've done with the school that I teach at.
Damn, so it's the same thing as you're taking the high school kids again?
Yeah, so this one is a lot smaller. I'm only taking 7, and we're grouped with, I think they're from Florida, like a different school.
Yeah.
And then we'll all be on one bus. When we went before, we were 2 buses from our high school.
That's crazy.
So, yeah,
this
it was
will
a
be
lot
your
of
ninth
fun.
ninth time traveling with them?
This past one was the 9th, yeah.
Oh, shit. So you're going on 10 next
Yep.
weekend.
Do you get a special plaque or like a balloon?
I should.
10? You really should.
I should.
Yeah.
Damn, so how many years is that span of you traveling?
I think the first trip I went on was 2014.
Okay.
COVID crushed us a little bit. That's why we're doing 2 trips.
Yeah.
This summer. There's another trip that's in Spain and Portugal right now. There's a whole group over there.
Yeah.
So.
Is it a grade thing? Like what age are the kids, or is it just anyone?
Anybody can sign up.
Okay.
Generally, they sign up like as they're going to be freshmen, and then do a payment plan and travel after their junior year. So nice. Junior is going to be seniors.
Yeah. Damn, we didn't have anything like that when I was in high school. I wish we did.
We did, but I wasn't allowed to go.
Oh, my high school did one too, but it was like small, and I think they went to like France and Spain. There were only like 6 of them that went.
We did like an exchange program, and that was about it. We did it in middle school and in high school, but there was nothing like that you could pay and go on a trip. At least not that I remember. And I was involved in a lot of the different clubs and shit. So
yeah, we did my high school. We did like it wasn't like a full exchange program. It was like we had students from Norway come for like 2 weeks. And then the same students that hosted went there for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But that was it.
That's fun.
Yeah, ours was just to England. I remember. So I remember trying to spit game with some of the English girls.
How did that go?
Why am I not surprised?
No, it's only 2 weeks, right? So it's like everyone's trying to do the same thing, you know? So it didn't work out well. I remember like talking to one like years into high school. I mean, like, I don't care about talking to you anymore. 3 years ago, like, I'm never going to see you again, right? But we were just talking about lifting earlier. Deb, how long have you been weightlifting?
That's I don't really know how to answer that. So I played softball. I think I started when I was like 5. And then my sister is 4 years older than me, and she also played softball. And so when she was in high school, her like travel club team, whatever, worked with a lifting coach. And so my parents just sort of lumped me in with them. So I was like 6th and 7th grade learning how to like hang clean.
Yeah.
So I like that's sort of when I started, and then it sort of like fell off for a little bit. And then after I graduated college in 2017, I sort of fell back into it just because I needed something to like fuel that competitiveness that I felt like I lost a little bit.
Yeah.
So I guess since like off and on since 2017, so 5-ish years. I took a break for a bit, got injured, came back.
2017, that's a long time though. When did you get into CrossFit around that time too?
Yeah, so I waited almost a full year after I graduated. I tried to do the thing where like I went to like a Globo gym and tried to do my own thing, and I had literally no idea what I was doing, and I was just like aimlessly wandering around, and I knew I didn't want to do like cardio the entire time because that just sounds awful to me.
I don't know how people do that. Like go on the treadmill and just walk for 45 minutes. Like, I can do it outside. That's fine. But just walking on the treadmill is elliptical. It's too boring.
Even if there's a TV in front of me, you're not catching me dead doing that.
Not.
That makes it worse for me. I've started watching the TV and get bored after like 2 minutes. It makes it more boring. You know?
Yeah. I think the only time I like willingly went to the gym for cardio was when it was like the summer between my junior and senior year of college, because I was living like off campus in my house because I had like an internship and I didn't have any air conditioning in my house. But I was like, if I go to the gym, there's air conditioning there. So I would like half-ass like walk on the treadmill and like watch TV and just stand in the air conditioning.
Try to not sweat.
College student hacks. Like that's exactly what I did. That was the only time I think I ever did it willingly.
That's funny. Alicia, what about you? When did you get into CrossFit and weightlifting?
I got into CrossFit probably like 7 or 8 years ago, and started really lifting like 3 years ago. I did the whole like after college, drink your face off, get heavy, and then realized I need to get my ass in gear, and found like a HIIT kettlebell workout gym. Went there for a while.
So
they
skipped
closed.
The gym kind of thing. You went right to like a class environment.
Yeah.
Nice.
Because I knew that Globo gym thing is not for me. Like I need somebody to tell me what to do. And I found a Groupon for CrossFit, and I tried it when the other gym was closing, and I've been hooked ever since.
You know when people come on here and say they've had like a Groupon for CrossFit? I never had that shit. I had to pay the full penny right from the get-go.
I remember when I like actually like signed up for CrossFit, it was literally in the middle of the open.
Yeah.
It was like the weirdest time to do it, but like from like an ex-college athlete standpoint, like the competitiveness, I was like, this is it. This is what I needed. Yeah.
I just I don't know. I think I knew what CrossFit was before, so I Googled it and like didn't even scroll down far enough to go to the Groupon thing. It was probably there.
Yeah.
You know? I just found the first gym and clicked on that and went to it.
Yeah.
You know. So what sports did you play growing up, Alicia?
I was a 3-sport athlete growing up, so I played softball probably from the time I was 4 till junior year of high school. Then I played basketball up through freshman year of high school, and then picked up volleyball as an 8th grader.
Which one did you like the most?
Volleyball.
Volleyball?
Yeah,
Nice.
which is why that's the one I'm stuck with.
Yeah.
But I gave up. I would have played softball my senior year too, but I was having shoulder issues and had to pick one or the other. Like, did I want softball or did I want volleyball at the college level?
Yeah.
And then kind of was like, all right, now let's go the volleyball route.
When you were growing up, like playing sports, did you ever have like any weightlifting experience like Dev did?
Not really. There was like, oh, hey, we're going to the weight room, and nobody knew what they were doing, and we were in the weight room.
Yeah.
But nobody, like our high school coach had no idea what he was doing to teach it. Even in college, we really didn't have a strength and conditioning coach.
Right.
So I really didn't get into any sort of lifting until I started CrossFit.
Yeah.
And then I had a lot of bad habits from CrossFit that I'm still trying to break.
That's funny. Where did you start off at? Delco?
Yeah, I've been at Delco the whole
Is that
time.
where you started too?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's where I started. It actually, so I obviously, like, I went to college up here, and one of my teammates actually started at like CrossFit Delco. Back then it was like CrossFit 484, but she started there like when we were still playing college. So that's sort of how I like knew of it, and I knew that she had a good experience there, and so I think it made it a lot easier for me because I feel like if I didn't know someone that had tried it and liked it, especially like at that specific gym, I don't know if I would have done it.
Yeah. What college you go to?
Widener.
Oh, okay. I was trying to think of the name of that.
Fun fact, Alicia also went there.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you guys both?
Way older than her, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like thinking, like, was it your sinus? Widener. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So you played softball there?
Yep.
Nice. How'd that go? Did you lift it like when you were in college too a little bit?
So it's actually funny because like Alicia talks about how like they didn't really have a strength and conditioning coach. It started to become, I remember my freshman year, like we were told we had to go work out, but like none of us ever really did. And then by like our junior year, the coach had actually hired, I think she was a CrossFit coach. Like she was a certified CrossFit coach. I don't remember what gym she used, but she
was Forerunner. She was running Forerunner.
Yeah.
Never even heard of that word.
It was like real. Actually, no. Was it Forerunner?
I don't know.
But she runs Power Plant now.
No. So
different.
Katie was hired our senior year. There was someone else hired our junior year. She was actually the basketball coach, and she was CrossFit certified. So she did it our junior year, and then we hired Katie our senior year, and she's been there till this day. But she was the one that really sort of like got us more into like a lifting program, and it like paid off dividends for sure. And that's, I think, the biggest thing I regret now is like looking back and I was like, wow, I'm in so much better shape now than I was. Yeah. And if I would have taken it more seriously like then, it would have been completely different.
You feel like you didn't take the workout serious when you were first starting to lift?
Yeah, especially when I was in college. I was like, I'm gonna do the bare minimum. I'm gonna drink all the beer on the weekends, and like my diet was awful, as like every college student's is. And and it's funny because like I was lucky enough to like come back and like work as an assistant coach for the same softball program, and the head coach knew, like he would look at me and be like, you're in such better shape now, like come on, like you could have done this earlier. I'm like, yeah, I know, but hindsight's 2020, I guess. So
what were you guys first learning back then?
So we did like deadlifting one day. So it was like a three lift a week program. And so we did like a strength portion, and then we did like 2 like circuits. And so it was either like a squat, a deadlift, or like a bench press. We didn't really do like cleans when I was there, which I kind of wish we did, because that's the one movement I really like more than anything else. But yeah, so we would do like a bench one day, and then we would do like 2 different sets of like compound movements after that, and then we would like finish with either like an ab finisher or like wall sits or something like that.
Would you guys be like training with the boys in the weight room?
No. So it was nice. I'm assuming Widener didn't have this when you were there, but like we have like a gym with like lifting platforms and stuff like that most of the teams use. Like it's technically open to students too, but like it's mainly teams in there. And so we would go in before it opened to the public, and so we would be in there at like 6 a.m.
P.S. We did have that. We just didn't use it. It was there. We were just old and never used it.
Free weights and weight room. But you're saying you predated the weight room.
Not that old.
Pre-weight room.
Yeah. No, they completely redid the gym after I graduated. So like when we go back to play against Widener, I'm like, where was all of this when I was here? Like, all of the money I paid is now in that gym. Yeah. 100%.
All the money you paid is like for like 3 45-pound plates.
Yes.
Fuck a library, put it right.
No one needs books.
Yeah, fuck that. So your first experience with it was in CrossFit, Alicia?
Yeah, pretty much.
How did that go in the very beginning? Did you like lifting?
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah.
But like I said, our coach... So there were 2 guys that ran our gym. The one guy was a big Olympic lifting guy. I literally met him once before him and the other guy kind of parted ways. Yeah. And I learned a lot of bad habits that I've been really working hard to break. Some of them
everybody at the beginning.
Yeah. So, I mean, and I had done CrossFit probably 3 years before I like actually started a barbell class. And once we started the barbell class, like I actually was like, oh, you are supposed to hit your hips when you clean and when you snatch. Yeah. And things have progressed since then.
I'm trying to think, like, when did I figure that out? I think like the same amount of time, like 3 years in.
Yeah.
You know, like you're just like moving the bar before that, you know.
Well, and
you think about what you're doing.
And our coach always said to us, like, just get under the bar fast.
Yeah.
Like, pull that bar as high as you can. Okay, I'm really good at that.
Yeah.
Like, but
And then die underneath it.
yes, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So it's breaking some of those types of habits.
So did like Bree come there and start
Yeah.
the class, and that's how
Yeah.
it like all started off nice.
I remember when that first started because that was when I was first there, and then I like moved into the city, and so I stopped going. And then when I came back, I went back, and Bree was like, "Were you here before?" And I was like, "Yeah, at the very beginning." And then I moved, and here I am again.
Jamie and I are the only ones that have been there the whole
Yeah.
like through the whole
Yeah.
cycle.
Was it like 4 or 5 years ago it started? Damn.
Yeah, I think like I think October will be 4 years.
Yeah, because like I think I only went to 2 classes before I moved into the city.
Yeah. You moved to the city, Deb? You moved away from Delco for a little bit?
Yeah, so I
for
moved
a hot
in.
second.
Yeah, I think I was there for maybe like 2 years.
Okay.
My sister, the one that's 4 years older than me, that also played softball. Her and I decided to like live in the city together as roommates, which
Sex in the city vibes.
it really was with like the 2 of us and my dog, and that was
Oh
it.
my god.
It was like, I mean, I had a blast, and then like COVID hit, and I was kind of like, why am I paying to live in a city when like nothing's open?
Yeah.
And so then I moved back to the suburbs.
Nice.
Yeah.
Then you started weightlifting from there, like at the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. I went to a place in the city, and it like just wasn't the vibe that I was going for. And then that's the one thing I will say about our gym specifically is that like it's like the environment like is so like close knit. Like everyone's really close with each other. Like everyone cheers on each other.
Community is
Yeah,
big,
the community
yeah.
thing is really big, and
You
that's
say hi.
yeah.
I've gone to some gyms where it's like 10 minutes before anyone says anything.
Yeah.
You're like, okay.
And there's a beer fridge, which I think also like helps morale a bit.
Yeah.
So then I came back.
But Deb, you're an engineer also, right?
Yeah.
So what's it like when you go into these spaces and like it's like a male-dominated field and you walk in like not just a girl, but a 26-year-old girl, 27-year-old girl?
I mean, it's definitely interesting. I think when I first started, I was still, I would say, like, unsure of myself. And so I didn't know how to, like, not demand space, but sort of, like, take up space.
Yeah.
Because, like, and I, especially with, like, athletics, like, when it comes to that, like, I knew how to take up space. But then when it came to, like a normal, like, job and, like, a non-athletic field, I was just kind of like, I don't know where I fit in with this.
Yeah.
So it was definitely, like, the first 2 years that I think I worked in the industry were really tough for me. I think especially because my personality doesn't really go with what you would think of an engineer being. And so I felt at first that, like, I had to sort of, like, conform and, like, fit in. And I was so uncomfortable. And I feel like it sort of, like, bled into my work. And now I think I'm just more, like, self-assured. And so it's so funny now. I'll go in places, especially because of my name. Like, my name's Devin. It's not a super feminine name.
Yeah.
So until they meet me, like, they'll just assume that I'm a guy. And so it's really funny to see people's reactions when they walk in somewhere and they're like, yeah, like, I'm looking for Devin. I'm like, yeah, that's me. And they're like, oh, what? Every single time. If I had $1 for every time, like, a male in the engineering field said, oh, I thought you were, like, a guy, I probably would never have to work again. Hands down.
That's funny. I feel like, is I the female Devin name? I feel like that might
It could be both ways.
I don't know. Because
Yeah.
everyone always spells my name Owen, too. So,
Yeah.
like, I have no idea. I don't know.
But we have another Devin at the gym.
and
That's
she's
Owen.
Owen, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Owen.
Yeah.
She's a girl Devin.
Yeah.
I feel like you kind of just answered. Do you still feel like you have to be one kind of way as an engineer?
No. I think I finally found, like, a company that doesn't accept it, but I think celebrates the fact that, like, all of their employees are unique. And so I feel a lot more, like, accepted. And so I don't feel like I have to conform as much. And I feel like part of that came from just, like, being self-assured in other aspects of my life, including, like, CrossFit and weightlifting and coaching in general. And so I think it's sort of all, like, blended together. Like, if you're confident in one aspect, it'll sort of lend itself more to another aspect.
Yeah.
Especially with, like, coaching. When I first started that, like, I had no idea what I was doing. I was an awful coach. I was trying to, like, mimic other coaches that I had because I didn't know, like, what I was supposed to do. I don't know. Did you feel that way, too, when you first started?
Oh, my God,
You just
absolutely.
monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah, and I was, like, I had no idea what I was doing, and I felt like I had to, like, mimic everyone else, and I sort of had to figure out, like, good coaches have coaches that they've learned from, but they don't have coaches that they mimic. And I think that's like the biggest thing I had to learn.
You got to make it your own, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I sort of like thought of it in a sense of, oh, like I've had all these coaches. What did I like that they did? What did I not like that they did? And so that sort of formed how I am as a coach, and in turn, like how I am as like an engineer, and how I like deal with people on teams, even with like work stuff, not just like athletic stuff.
Yeah, I feel that.
You say that. I went back to my coaches after I started coaching. Well, I swore I would never coach a day in my life, and Donovan and I joke about it all the time. He's like, you always told me you would never coach. He told me I would. But I go back, and between him and my college coach, like I say to him, like, I'm sorry. Like, because I was the biggest bitch in the world as an athlete. Like, it was ridiculous. And I, like, the first time we played against my college coach, she now coaches high school, and I was coaching high school at the time. I walked up to her and I'm like, I am so sorry for everything that I put you through in all of the years that we were at Widener.
Do you see yourself in the kids you
Oh my God,
coach?
yes. Yeah?
Yes.
How do you deal with you? What do you do?
I actually struggled dealing with people that were like me, because I'm like, you're an idiot. Like, let me shake you and get it out of you now, because 5 years down the road, you'll realize, like, stop doing that. And I try to have that conversation with them, and I'm very honest about how I was as a player.
Yeah.
And I think for me, being under certain coaches, like you're saying, like that was I learned a lot under two coaches in particular.
Yeah.
And I took a lot from them, and it's made me a better coach.
Yeah.
So
you said that you never saw yourself as a coach, but like you're a school teacher now. Like, how did you get to that? What made you want to be a teacher?
I knew I wanted to be a teacher.
Yeah.
I always said that I was going to teach fourth grade, like blah, blah, blah. I don't hate little kids. No, I teach high school.
I thought so.
I don't hate little kids, but I could never teach little kids. Like, I don't have the patience for that. I teach high school. I'm a high school math teacher.
Nice.
So, I got into teaching, and then I was like, oh yeah, all right. I actually started coaching my senior year of college. One of my friends was like, hey, come coach. So I coached, and I had no idea what I was doing. I was like, this drill was fun when I got to play, so guess what we're doing? We're going to do this drill for all of practice. I had no clue. And then I tried to surround myself with like other coaches that I could learn from and steal from, especially in terms of volleyball, but like in terms of life itself too. And I think that was a big key for me.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I didn't realize that like you didn't like set out to be a coach either. It's interesting that we both sort of just like fell back into it. Because I was the same way. Like when I was in college and high school, like I hated children, like hated them. And it's so funny because like I fell back into coaching. I now like I coach at the college level, but then I also do like private lessons with like kids as young as 10.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because like. Yeah, because, like, the little ones, I see so much of myself in some of them, and I'm like, oh, man, this is karma. Karma's coming back for me.
So who are you better with dealing with? People that are like you or people that are different than you?
I don't know, actually. I think it's easier for me to relate to the ones that were like me because, and when I was, like, 10 and 11, I vividly remember I had male coaches at the time, and I didn't want to listen to them because I was like, you've never played softball. Like, I knew from the jump I would never listen to them.
That's funny.
And so I think it's easier for me to relate to the kids that I see more of myself in because I know how I didn't like to be talked to and how I did like to be talked to. And I think, like, that sort of morphed itself into, like, how I coach them.
Yeah.
And so I think it helped a lot.
That's crazy.
For sure.
Like, dealing with different people, because I think that I'm much better with people that are like me or not like me. Actually, well, no one's like me. So.
I'm unique.
I think what's funny is that Alicia, I would consider you a very like humble athlete and person. Like, when do you think that like you got like that? You know, calm down for being like a bitch, like you said. Kind of crazy.
Probably 5 or 6 years after college, like when I started coaching and started seeing like more different personalities and getting to see like, oh, like, all right, this kid does this, this kid does that. And I think it took a while to realize that. I was also really young. Yeah. So I went into college at 17. Like they joke like, oh, we had to mail your papers home, like because I wasn't allowed to sign anything. Yeah. So I think it was more of a, like, I was really immature when I went into college. And then I think coaching really helped me a lot in terms of that. So it's fun.
Dev, what about you? Do you think you changed from your playing career to
Oh
now?
my God, yeah. Like, I think that's the biggest thing is, like, when I was in college specifically, like, my anxiety was so bad to the point where I tried to quit softball my senior year.
Damn.
And I remember, like, vividly sitting in the head coach's office, like, tears streaming down my face, like, crying. And anyone that knows me knows, like, I'm not super emotional. I absolutely hate feelings. You can ask Scott. He'll tell you.
I hate feelings.
My family jokes I'm like a cactus. Like, I'm really prickly. But I remember, like, vividly sitting in his office, like, sobbing, me saying, I'm quitting. He's like, no, you're not. I'm like, I'm quitting. I'm quitting. Like, my anxiety was so bad to the point where I just, like, I hated being there, and I was so nervous about, like, doing something wrong that, like, the idea of being on the field, like, freaked me out. And my senior year, like, we won the conference for the first year in school history, and we made it, like, into, like, the NCAA tournament, like, postseason, and it was supposed to be, like, this really amazing time for me, and I was absolutely miserable. I hated it, didn't want to be there, and I think that's, like, my biggest regret is that I didn't take my mental health seriously when I was there, and now I do. And so, like, I play in, like, a women's fast pitch league now, and it's so much fun because I don't put pressure on myself, and I'm a completely different athlete now because of it. And so I think that's, like, the main thing I try to, like, really hone in on with all my players, like, whether it's, like, the little 10-year-olds or it's the college athletes, like, you can be great at a sport, but if your mental health isn't there, I don't care, right? Like, you as a person is more important to me than you as an athlete. And I don't think that was something that was talked about, like, when either one of us were really there. And I think it's only been more talked about, like, recently, and I love that it is. Because I think people get so caught up in the athletics part of it that, like, we forget, like, they're humans. They're kids, they're people, students, they're away from school or away from home for the first time. There's all these other factors that I think a lot of coaches will sometimes, like, forget about, because it's so easy for you to just be like, oh, I have you for, like, these 2 hours at practice, and sometimes you, like, forget that there's lots of other things going on at the same time.
Yeah, especially if you're a high performer, right? Like, when you're a player, you just always got to play. You got to play
exactly.
It, you know, like, especially when you're playing, like, a lot of games and stuff, like softball, volleyball, basketball, sports like that, where it's like you're playing twice a week. Yeah. You know, like, something can easily pop up in the middle of that. You just have to play through. You know, that can be a very hard thing.
I think one of the things that, like, at least our team has done, and this was set into place before I even got to Newman, but our girls sit in a circle before practice and dump their day. It is been one of the best things ever. Like, they'll talk about their boyfriends or girlfriends, or, like, did they do well on a test? Did they not do well on a test? And as a coach, it's really helpful, because if people are having a bad day, my captains will come over and be like, Mac, today's not the day. Like ease up on so-and-so. She's having a really bad day. There's lots of tears before practice. So I kind of get a vibe before they even go into practice. And the coaches aren't involved in it. It's just the team. They kind of give each other, like, an idea. They know who they have to pick up during practice. And they can give me that kind of, all right, today's a good day. Like, you can go hard. You can kind of, like, ride us. But on certain days, there's days like stay away. And I've had kids actually come out of, like, dump and, like, come to my office and be like, oh my God, and then, like, 100% breakdown. And then it's, like, kind of, like, talk them through. Like, a lot of it is school, and they don't know how to handle school, and COVID really changed a lot for the kids. And trying to kind of handle their, like, the mental health and the, like, where they're going in life is so much more important than the athlete. Like,
the winning the game, winning the match, or anything like that.
Right. Like,
were you prepared for, like, taking on those, like, mental and emotional dumps when you became a coach? Because, like, everyone talks about the physical side and helping them become better athletes, but just like Dev said, like, it's not a lot of talk about, like, you have to nurture these young kids. Were you ready to, like, help lead those people in that way?
I don't think I've had the training to do that. I think that being in it and, like, seeing it, and I mean, we're around, I don't know about you, but we're around the girls 6 days a week.
Oh, you're good. You could go in. Yeah, that's hey.
We're around the kids 6 days a week, so I see them probably more than some of their roommates even see them. Now, our team lives together for the most part, so they're kind of all together all the time. So if something...
You're fine. You want to close that door for Michelle? Are you coming back in?
No.
Okay, thank you. You're fine. Bye.
So if there's things going on, like a lot of their roommates will like just pop by and be like, "Hey, Mac, you need to be aware of this," or, but no, like training wise, absolutely not. Like there hasn't been training in terms of that, but I think just being in tune to your players and to your athletes makes all the difference in the world. And to me, like, I care more about them as humans than I do athletes. Am I going to push you to be the best athlete that you possibly can be?
Yeah.
Definitely. I'm not going to let you skate by, and I'm not that hand holder type of coach. Like, and my kids know that. And when I'm recruiting kids, like, I tell them the same thing. Like, I'm going to push you as hard as I possibly can. But at the same point, like, I want you to be healthy. I want you to be a good person. Like, character is really important. Our team culture is huge for us. So I think that kind of stems where, like, I kind of try to make sure I know what's going on to where I should know. Like, what they're doing on the weekends, I don't necessarily want to know. They tell me, but...
You don't want to be in on all of it.
Yeah, not all of it. No, I'm okay. Like, you guys could go talk about that over here. Yeah. But, I mean, my girls are pretty good about being open, and if they need anything, I mean, between the amount of, like, just conversations we've had, like, helping them get jobs, helping them, like, in the real world, I think that's a big part of coaching, especially at the college level.
How do you, like, make that team chemistry from year to year with, like, people leaving, like captains leaving? Because you said the captains were the ones that led, like, the circle, the dump, you know? Like, how do you keep that going year to year?
I think it's kind of just passed down.
Yeah.
The team culture when I came in was phenomenal. And we've really tried hard to keep that. It's really tight-knit. The girls get along really well. Like, I'm still really close with a lot of the girls that graduated 10 years ago. And I think we do a lot of team bonding. We do a lot of, like, team reflection and that kind of stuff. And I think that helps. But they also see, like, I like what this person did as a leader. I did not like what this person did. And, like, we try and really build leaders coming up through the ranks. Like, and you don't have to be a senior to be a captain. Actually, awesome. This last year we didn't even name captains. It kind of, like, naturally happened.
Girls, like, pick their own captains.
Yeah, kind of. Like, they knew who they could go to. I knew who I could go to. More so, they came to me without me even having to go to them. Yeah. Which was, I mean, that's kind of the way you want it at the college level. I don't need to name somebody a captain just for somebody to be a leader. Like, in the past, we've had 5 captains, and 2 of them were the ones that did all the work. Like, it's not worth it. You know what I mean?
To have all of them.
So.
Yeah. Dev, what about you? What is team culture and chemistry something you, like, work on?
Yeah, I mean, I think the situation was a little different where, like, I was coaching. So we had our head coach that he actually just retired, but he started the program, right? So he'd been there from, like, the 80s on.
Damn.
He literally, like, was the program.
Damn.
And then all of his assistant coaches were his former players, right? So I think it's a special thing when you come into a program and all of the assistant coaches have literally been in your shoes at the exact same school.
Yeah. And
I think that was something that was really special because it helped foster, like, I think a tighter community. Because it's a lot easier for, like, me to go to someone when I know that I've been in their shoes, and I think it's more well received that way. And I remember, like, when I was playing, we had 2 of the assistant coaches were former players, and it was really helpful for me because I knew that they had literally felt what I was feeling, right? And so I think that was a really big difference. We do have captains. We usually have, like 2 or 3 of them are seniors, and then 1 would be a junior, and then, like, the junior then becomes the senior captain the next year. So you sort of always have someone, like, filling in.
Do they automatically get it, or what if they, like?
No. So we actually have our players vote on it. so it's like a blind vote, so no one really knows like who voted for who or whatever, but like the players choose it, like the coaches kind of stay out of it, and then once they're chosen, they're chosen at the end of the season before, and so then that summer we like really work with them, we like give them different like leadership like articles or whatever it may be for them to like sort of figure out what kind of leader they want to be, and I think that's really helpful.
That's funny to hear you say that. Did people do that for you when you were in high school and college?
No, not at all.
I was just saying, like, I've been handed those pamphlets before, and Amy still does shit like that.
Yeah.
And, like, sometimes I'm like, oh, my God, I don't want to do this.
Yeah,
like,
right?
Like, one night, I forget if I told you guys this or something. This is the type of shit that Amy does. I can't explain what kind of leader she is right now. Like, it had been, like, a tough week here or some shit, like, coaching. I think I had, like, covered a lot of classes. And then one night, she starts texting me these, like, riddles and fucking, like, word problems and shit. This is, like, her idea of, like leadership building and stuff. And I'm, like, fucking trying to think through it. I'm like, oh, my God, why am I doing this right now? She's, like, sending me these articles. And, like, afterwards, when you're doing it for someone else, you're like, I get it.
Now it makes sense.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
So it's, like, sometimes annoying in the moment, but then you try to like move on past it, you know.
I will say like at least at our school, like we have a lot of kids on our team that are like STEM majors, so whether it's like nursing or it's like pre-physical therapy or it's engineering, they do like a lot of group projects and they sort of are forced to become like leaders even inside the classroom, and so even if they're not a captain, like they all sort of take on leadership roles, which I think helps within like the softball side of it, which I think is really different than what you would see at a lot of other schools. And so I think that was really special. For sure. Like I think hands down, like that really helps them in the long run.
You know, I asked Alicia this, I didn't get a chance to ask you, were you like emotionally ready for what you'll probably take on from all like the kids that you work with?
No. Because I didn't get a handle on my mental health probably till like 2019. So like 2 years after I was outside of school. Yeah. I started doing like private lessons, and I was doing that at that same time, like before I fully got everything handled. And I think I didn't know what I was doing. And it was really hard for me to relate to someone else because I couldn't even like relate to myself in a sense, if that makes sense. Yeah. And so once I handled that, luckily I didn't start coaching at the college level till after, and so that was really helpful for me because I think if I would have started coaching collegiately before I had it handled on myself, there is no way I would have been able to do it, hands down. And I think it's helpful for me because I can sort of pick up when any of my players, when their anxiety is a little bit heightened or anything like that, more so than I think other people can, because I know the signs and I know what I displayed, which like wasn't picked up on right away. And so it's easier for me to like really hone in on it. And I think it helps a lot more. And I don't think you can be a really good coach until you sort of have a handle on your own like mental health in any sort of aspect, like hands down. That's a hill I'll die on for the rest of my life.
Yeah, for sure. When you don't like when you're not in tune with yourself, you try to push it to the back, but you almost feel kind of see-through. Right?
Yeah, it's almost like an imposter syndrome sort of thing. It's like, how can I sit there and tell you to do this when like I'm not even like doing it myself? Like, how can I sit there and tell you to believe in yourself and like know that you have the confidence to do this when like I don't necessarily have that like within myself now.
Yeah.
Well, and I don't know about you guys, but like I take home a lot of what they like project.
Sure. Oh
like,
my God, yeah.
And I want to help them so bad. Yeah. And it's like trying to like just take it off of them and like work them through it. So it's like it kind of weighs you down as a coach. So like you're saying, if your mental health isn't strong, like you
take it on a lot.
You're taking on other people's troubles as well.
Yeah.
And you kind of got to work through not only your own, but their troubles. So like I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Like, I remember there was like my first year coaching collegiately, one of our senior captains, she was a nursing major, and so like nursing students, they do like clinicals and stuff, and she came into a Friday practice, and I could tell that they were all a little like stressed out. So I like talked the head coach into planning a fun day, and we got like water ice and all this other stuff, and at the end she just broke down crying, and I was like, are you okay? And she was like, I was in clinical today and like one of my patients died, and I was like, thank God I was able to like help her and sort of take off like some of that for her. But like, if I wouldn't have like been more sure of myself, I don't know if I would have been like equipped to like handle that. And I think that's like one of the moments that like vividly sticks out for me, and like why I decided to become a coach was that like I'm able to like take some of that burden away from someone else. Like I'm able to make sure that someone doesn't feel the way I felt when I was a student athlete. And I think that's like a really big driving factor for me when it comes to coaching. Like I never want someone to feel the way that I felt. And so if there's any way that I can handle that, or any way that I can pick up on their cues and like get to them before they felt the way that I felt, like hands down, I'll do it every time.
It's really important that you're able to like help people like that, but you do need to like alleviate some of that, you know, like how do you decompress from people kind of dumping on you like that?
For me, it's going to the gym.
Hands down, absolutely.
And like the girls on the team know, like I'm at the 5:30 class every morning during the season. Like during the off season, I'll go more in the afternoon, but I have to go to the gym in the morning for me to keep my sanity. Yeah. Because I got to be at work at 7:30. So the only time, like I teach from 7:30 to 3 o'clock, practices at 4:30, like 4:30 to 6:30. So it's like, if I'm going early in the morning, and that for me is like I'm here, I'm focused on me. I don't have to like worry about anything else. Yeah. But it kind of like, that's where I can get my aggression out. That's where I can be pissed off and throw down a barbell as hard as I want. And that has been my saving grace, is going to the gym. And that's why I love Sundays. Like, because Sundays I have nothing else but being able to go to the gym and hang with my friends and lift heavy weights, and that's the best.
I think that's why I like the Olympic lifting aspect so much, because like if you are not hyper focused on exactly what you are doing in that moment, and if you are not super present, it's not going to work. And so it's really helpful for me, because it literally forces me to shut off every single other part of my brain, and that's like probably the only time that I can really do that. Like I have like Scott will tell you, like there'll be times where like I'll be like reading in bed, and then I'll like roll over and like make a note on my phone for like something for work, and he'll be like, can you like,
I try not to do that. Yeah.
Oh my god, I literally can't shut my brain off.
But it's better to get it out and down than just keep sitting and letting it
hands down.
But I think for me, Olympic lifting has made me a better coach.
Yes.
Because like Bree has been telling me the same thing for 2 years, and it's not like, it doesn't click. And then I remind myself when I'm telling a kid the same thing for 2 years, like, all right, come up with a different way to say it, like figure it out. And like, they're trying. I promise you that they're trying. And it really, like for me, that has been a big change in when I started doing that and my coaching. Because I know that they're not blatantly trying to do the opposite of what I'm telling them. They are trying to do what I'm asking them to do. It's just not clicking. So just coming up with 1,000 different ways to say the same thing has been huge for me.
Yeah, I agree. Like I think like joining Barbell Club really forced me to sort of realize that like everyone's body is different and everyone's brain is different. So your movement patterns, while they can look the same, the way your brain is thinking about it's never going to be the same. So you have to come up with different cues based on the person. And I think that's something that I took over into the softball side, because like if you think of softball pitching specifically, like the basic motion is the same, but how every single person's body does it is slightly different. And so you can't coach them all the same. And so I literally have 2 11-year-olds that are on the same travel team, and I do pitching lessons with both of them, and I coach both of them completely different. They are the same age, they've been pitching for the same amount of time, they are coached completely different because they are 2 different people.
Even on the college level, you got to coach them. You have to coach the team, but you have to coach each individual athlete themselves. Like there are certain kids that I can yell at all day long. I know I have other kids, and I'm not really a yeller. I may be loud, but I'm not typically like a yeller, and they know if I yell like I'm really pissed off. But like I can get on certain kids, and I know if I go to get on another kid, they are going to have a mental breakdown, and it's not worth it. Like I have to pull that kid off to the side and have a conversation with them. And sometimes that's hard for other kids to see. They're like, you're not yelling at her, like you're yelling at me. I'm like, yeah, but you can handle that. She can't.
Right.
And like, if we want to be good as a team, I have to like talk to each of you the way that I'm going to get the most out of you. And I think that has been another thing that took me a while to learn.
It's the learning curve, right?
Yeah.
How to coach to everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, and any skill and high skill movement, especially, like, everyone's anatomy is different, so how you express movement is going to be different.
Yeah.
You know, like, you can adhere to certain guidelines, but you don't ever want them to be so strict that, like, people can't, like, try to do it, you know? Like, some people are good at the split jerk, and some people should push jerk, you know? It's just how it is. Like,
Yeah.
that's how it's going to be, like, with certain movements. So we shouldn't force people into different movement patterns. So you guys both consider coaching, like, a big part of your identities now, right?
I think so.
Yes,
You know?
absolutely.
And being an athlete was before, but, like, what did you do in the middle? Did you ever feel, like, lost, like, between when you were an athlete and when you were a coach, or was it, like, a complete crossover, like a quick crossover, I should say?
Oh, I had a huge
gap.
adjustment period for me, for sure. I think it was, well, I don't know if you dealt with this too, but, like, when my first year coaching at the collegiate level, the seniors were actually freshmen when I was a senior, and so that was really weird for me.
That's funny.
And it was interesting because when I was a senior, there was an assistant coach that came on that was a senior when I was a freshman, and so I remembered that, and I remember how I was with her, and I was like a total asshole to her, and I feel so bad about it now. And so I remember that, and so I was so nervous that, like, they weren't gonna take me seriously, and then I think they didn't, because, like, I wasn't self-assured in myself, and I didn't, like, demand space or, like, demand respect in a way that came across respectfully, but also, like, still got my point across. And so it was, like, a massive learning curve for me, for sure.
Did you have that, Alicia?
Yes and no. Like, I was an assistant at the high school that I teach at for a while before I got into the college. So I worked with one sister, and then at the high school level, her sister coached college at the college I'm currently at.
Yeah.
And Dina's assistant was leaving. So, like, I left one sister and went to be the other sister's assistant. And thankfully, they both are very different coaches. So I actually learned a ton working with both of them.
Yeah.
And I had to find myself as a coach at the high school level. And then by the time, that was probably 7 years at the high school level before I got to be an assistant in college. So I kind of knew who I was as an assistant coach. That movement from being an assistant coach to a head coach at that same school, that was definitely an adjustment, because when you're the assistant coach, like, the girls will come to you. You're the cool one. You're the fun
cop.
one.
You're the good cop.
You're the good cop.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, you're not the good cop anymore. And that was, for me, was a major adjustment. Because it was like those seniors I had such a good relationship with as, like, the assistant coach. So it was weird to now be the one that, like, you didn't make the decisions as the assistant. You could suggest stuff, but you weren't the end all be all. Well, then you're the end all be all as the head coach. Like, thankfully, my assistants and I, like, have a really good working relationship. So, like, if my assistant Danny turns to me and he goes, "We should be doing this," okay, do it. Like, let's go. But that was built because she played for me. Well, she was a freshman my first year of coaching, and then she was a senior when I took over as a head coach, and then she came back to coach with me. So kind of like what Devin's saying. So, like, she was with me. She is not with me next year, and I'm, like, still freaking out that she's not going to be here in the fall. But I think a lot of that, like, having their support, that senior class's support, was huge for me.
Yeah.
And I also try to take feedback really well from the kids. I have individual meetings at the end of each season, and I have some who are very blatantly honest, like, you didn't do this, you didn't do that, like, you're getting soft, like, and I appreciate that more than anything. There are a couple kids who, like, some of them are afraid to hurt your feelings. Listen, I tell you what I need from you. You guys need to tell me what I need from you too.
Yeah.
And I think, again, that those conversations make you better. Like, constructive criticism is huge.
Yeah.
And what they need is what I want to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you want to provide the service to them.
Yeah.
You know? Have either of you guys ever worked under as a man as the head coach when you were an assistant?
Yeah, so, like, our head coach, he was a man. And it's really funny because when it came to, like, the players' like emotions and their mental health. He literally was like so oblivious to all of it, and it was really funny because anytime there was any sort of like problem or situation, like all of the players would come to one of the assistants because all the assistants were female, and then we sort of like dealt with all of like the emotions or any sort of drama or anything like that.
Drama.
Yes, yeah, there's always team drama when it comes to like an all-female team for sure. But I think it was the same way like what you're saying. Like we all played under him, so he was a lot more accepting of any sort of criticism, or even like, hey, like we should do practice like this today, or anything like that, or hey, like we should change our lineup so it flows like this, or whatever. I think he was more open to it because he trusted us enough, because he knew how we were as players, and so he saw how we were as coaches too.
I've only worked with male coaches at the club level, so not at the high school level, not at the college level. Yeah. And the club, like the coaches that I've worked with, like technically head assistant, but we both kind of knew each other. We knew like what each other's strengths were, so we played to each other's strengths. It wasn't so much like a head assistant. Yeah, like it was a team more than anything.
So do you think the biggest difference is just how they handle the players' emotions?
Oh my god, absolutely, hands down.
Man to a woman.
Yes, I remember. So the same head coach. So my sophomore year of college, I actually tore my labrum in my bicep, and no one could figure out what was wrong, and I was 5 hours away from home, so like I didn't know what to do. And so the head coach would like drive me to like see all these different surgeons and like go get an MRI and do whatever. And I remember when we finally saw a surgeon and he said, "You tore your labrum, you have to have surgery, you have to have X, Y, and Z, and you're out for the year." I remember like fully like getting back in his car and just like sobbing, like straight up sobbing, because it was how am I as a person if I don't have like softball, right? And I love him to death. He's one of my best friends now, but at the time he like didn't know how to handle it, and he literally took me to Dunkin' Donuts and bought me a donut. And he was like, "Here you go." And like looking back,
it's kind of a vibe though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not mad about it. Like it worked at the time, but like I always like laugh at it now, because I think if it was a female head coach, I think the situation would have been handled differently. But I think he did the best that he thought he could do.
Definitely
like,
no
donut.
donut.
For sure, no donut.
You probably would have gotten a hug.
Yeah.
And like
maybe a gift card.
Yeah, no, it was like a donut, and then he dropped me back off on campus so I could go back to class, and my eyes were all red still and everything. Yeah,
you were crying, eating the donut.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Like sobbing, just shoving a chocolate sprinkled donut in my mouth. Yeah, it's fine.
That's funny. Well, I mean, maybe more female coaches should buy the donuts.
Yeah, I mean, there you go.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Keep that in my back pocket next year.
Don't know how to deal with somebody just buying a donut.
Here, have a donut.
Oh, man. So, Alicia, you're headed off. Where are you going to next week?
Ireland, England, and Wales.
Oh, damn.
And I'm excited for that because I haven't been to any of those. Like, Italy I've been to, so this one's all brand new.
Oh, nice. Dad, what you got going on this weekend? Oh, you got the party, right? Friday?
Oh, yeah. I'm freshly engaged, so I have my engagement party. So
barbecue. I love how you say casual little get together.
Oh, yeah.
Love that. Yeah. But Alicia, outside of that, what are you hungry for next? What's coming up for you?
Personally, like I would like to get my USAW L1.
Nice.
Trying to find a course that fits into my crazy schedule. And then just keep competing. And in terms of coaching, I can't wait for the season to start.
When does the season start for you guys?
The middle of August. Wait, what weekend's the Burbs?
Oh, the 20th.
Yeah, guess what day preseason starts there, Taylor?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that was a great day. Deb, what about you? What are you hungry for?
Well, I mean, definitely like getting my USA WL1. Hopefully with Alicia, we can do it together.
Nice.
I actually am no longer employed by the college that I worked at because the head coach retired. So if maybe I'll go back into coaching somewhere else, who knows? Yeah. But I love giving private lessons, and so I think I'm going to pivot to working more with like the younger kids now instead of the older ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, just competing, like trying to be the best coach I can be, whether that's in CrossFit, whether that's in weightlifting, whether that's in softball, and just seeing what happens.
Yeah, because you're signed up for the brawl, right?
Oh yeah.
You have your team all filled out?
Yeah.
They tested workouts yesterday morning.
We did the workouts yesterday morning.
Oh, you did more than just the clean ladder?
Yeah, we did the 3-minute one too.
Nice. What's that? Wall balls, biking, and knee-ups
Toes
for you
spread.
guys?
Yeah, knee-ups for us, yeah.
I feel like I told DeVito, well, I told you about the whole fiasco with him signing for the team. He still doesn't have his team all filled out.
He
I
said
thought they
yesterday
did.
he had
Yesterday
everyone
they-
in.
Finally, I texted him like Friday to do it. Oh, thank God he finally did it yesterday. And like when I was telling him to pay, I was like, yo, don't just pay, fill your team out also. Like, it's not just that I want the money. I want you to fill your team out because I feel like you're not going to do it.
Now you know how we feel on a
month
daily
goes by,
basis.
he still doesn't do it. I'm like, bro, like, it wasn't just getting you to pay. I needed to get all this shit in, you know? 'Cause
I know they
leave it till the
had
last minute.
him and then the two females.
He
I
found
think-
a dude.
Yeah,
He told me
yeah.
that he found a dude,
Yeah.
you know? And so, I don't know.
He's just trying to build his dream team. That's what took him for so long.
The problem is his bromance isn't a Masters athlete
Yeah,
yet,
he's
so
very
he
upset
couldn't do
about
it.
Sucks to suck.
Yeah, man.
You don't make this whole thing about making a team, you know? Just make a team. It's not that big of a deal. As people are like, I need to find a partner. I'm like, bro, comment on the page.
Yeah.
That's why I made that page. I don't even go on there. I don't care about it. Like,
Yeah.
you just comment on there, you know, and that's how you can find one. But awesome. Good stuff, ladies. Thank you guys for coming on. Peace out, dog.